The next day, he boasted to the others. "Driver says I don't need him now." "Don't be so daft," snorted Percy. "I'd never go without my driver," said Toby earnestly. "I'd be frightened." boasted Thomas. "I'm not scared." "You never dare." "I would then. You'll see." The next morning the firelighter came. Thomas drowsed comfortably as the warmth spread through his boiler. Percy and Toby were still fast asleep. Then Thomas suddenly remembered. "Silly stick-in-the-muds," he chuckled to himself. "I'll show him. Driver says that I can manage without him. I'll just go out, and then I'll stop and whoosh. That will make Percy and Toby jump." Thomas thought he was being clever, but really he was only moving because his cleaner had knocked off his controls. He soon found out his mistake. He tried to whoosh, but he couldn't. He tried to stop, but he couldn't. He just kept rolling along. He didn't dare look at what was coming next. There was the station master's house. The station master's family was about to have breakfast when... "Horace!" cried Thomas as he shut his eyes tight, waiting for a crash. And he did. Crash! The house rocked, broken glass tingled, and plaster was everywhere. Thomas had collected a bush on his travels. He peered anxiously through the room through its leaves, and he couldn't speak. The station master was furious. His wife picked up her plate. "You miserable engine," she scolded. "Just look what you've done to our breakfast. Now I shall have to cook some more." And she banged the door. More plaster fell, and this time it fell on Thomas. Thomas felt depressed. Soon workmen propped up the house with strong poles and laid rails throughout the garden. Eventually, Donald and Douglas arrived. "Didn't affect yourself, Thomas. We'll soon have you back on the rails," they laughed. Donald and Douglas, puffing hard, managed to hold Thomas back on the rails again. Bits of fencing, the bush, and the broken window frame festooned his front, which was badly twisted. The twins laughed as they left him. While Thomas was in disgrace.